On Monday morning in Ottawa, Crown-Indigenous Relations Minister Marc said he understands the frustration out there that the government is not moving fast enough on the calls to justice. He said they have made some important strides in recent months on putting in place accountability measures.
What we heard last year from advocates precisely was, to answer that accountability portion, because without accountability, it's very hard to trust the federal government, particularly in an area where the trust is very thin in the first place. It's why we had this federal, provincial, and territorial roundtable in January, and at the end of which I appointed Jennifer Moore Rattray to move on that accountability portion, which is putting in place an ombudsperson.
There's still no definitive timeline for when an ombudsperson will be in place, but Miller said he expects a report from Moore Rattray in the next few months.
I'm looking for a more comprehensive report from her in the late fall. I didn't want to put conditions or a timeline on her myself. This is, I think, a timeline that she herself put forward to me, and then we'll look at that and look at the process that we need to do to really firm up the ombudsperson role.
Meanwhile, across the river in Gatineau Monday morning, the Trudeau government announced $1.2 million in funding to help the Native Women's Association of Canada with its programming.
This funding means more training, the development of customized strategic plans, and capacity building for member organizations in all provinces, in all territories, to address violence. Enwork will be able to provide more educational supports while enhancing empowerment supports for at-risk populations and survivors of human trafficking.
Enwork CEO Lynn Grew said the new money will help the organization continue its grassroots work.
The capacity building funding from Wage Canada being announced today helps us to sustain the work, the heart of the work of Enwork, which is our communities. We will now have more staff and more liaisons to help our PTMAs, our member associations, with training in areas of proposal writing, finance, communications, and generally to help keep our communities safer.
Fraser Needham, APTN National News, Ottawa.